Tier 1, Chapter 7. I think you're starting to see some conflict within Kate. And in Chapter 7, we're going to see a little flashback of something that has caused her stress for a long time, and then how Eric responds to it.
Chapter 7. I step into the house and slip off my shoes. Every movement sounds deafening in the silence. Hanging my cardigan and bag on the hooks by the door, I tiptoe into the kitchen. Gently, I open a cupboard and slide out a glass. Turning, I notice the top of Eric's head sticking up on one side of the couch. After filling my glass with water, I quietly navigate around the furniture, noticing that his eyes are closed and he is breathing deeply. I can't help but snuggle in beside him, setting my water on the wood floor. He sighs, wrapping his arms around me and pulling me close. This is home.
Late meeting?
He mumbles. Yep, sorry to make you worry.
Oh, I wasn't worried, just excited to have a night as a bachelor. I'm only tired because I partied so hard,
he says groggily. When he doesn't continue, I check to make sure he didn't slip back to sleep. Your messages say otherwise, I tease.
I had to send those so you wouldn't be suspicious.
I kiss him then, softly. I love you. I'm sorry I was so late. How was training?
I'll tell you tomorrow. Let's go to bed. My shoulder is cramping from being on this couch.
You're getting
old. I know.
He pushes me off the side and I fall to the floor. Laughing, I push myself up and follow him into our bedroom. Shedding my clothes and crawling under the covers is a relief. In the dark, I feel that Eric is already there. My feet find their usual place between his calves, and I am asleep as soon as my head hits the pillow. Drenched in sweat and gasping for breath, my eyes fly open. I flinch when a hand reaches out and brushes my arm.
Same dream?
Eric asks softly. Uh-huh, I mumble, still trying to calm my heart rate down.
How often is it happening these days?
This is the first time in a while, I say, dazed. I think Bentley was still fairly young when it happened last. I know Sherry seems to think it happens more when I am under stress. I trail off. I don't feel stressed. Maybe it's just because of my assignments with the ceremony and the fact that I was out late.
Is it always exactly the same, or are there slight variations?
He asks, pulling me close to him. Pretty much identical, I think. I am always sitting in the garden. The air is cool and everything moves slower than usual. Even my hair seems to blow in slow motion. It's hard to explain. My mom rushes out the back door yelling for me, and time seems to speed forward, almost violently. Something is pulling her back inside, and I can't get to her, I explain, tears filling my eyes. She's always wearing the same thing, her favorite loose linen skirt, and her hair is down, whipping around her face. I wipe a tear from my cheek. I'm sorry, it's just so disturbing. I don't know why my mind is conjuring up that image. What am I supposed to take from that?
Our dreams are usually random synaptic responses, Eric says. Sometimes they can be indicative of our fears or concerns. Maybe you've always subconsciously wanted to know more about your mom.
Maybe. My breathing settles. Glancing at my sensor, I realize it's close enough to our normal waking time that there is no point in trying to go back to sleep. Instead, I lie on my floor mat, beginning my stretches and changing the topic of conversation. I fill Eric in on my assignment while he gives me details on the training I missed. Most of it seems theoretically intuitive, but I will need to go into my consultant software to become completely familiar with the upgrades. Eric makes tea while I cook up some greens to go with our eggs. I hear the door open to the boys' room and see little, disheveled heads making their way down the hall. Today is family day, and we have all been looking forward to our hiking plans. Bentley sits up at the counter first.
Morning, Eric says as he gives him a big hug. How can I serve Master Bentley this morning? May I procure some eggs, greens, and tea for the gentleman?
Dad, I don't even know what you're saying, he giggles and yawns.
But you like it, right?
I just want breakfast.
Hear ye, Master Bentley desires breakfast.
Eric whirls his hands in the air and moves around the island with a flourish. He dramatically dishes up Bentley's food and places it in front of him with a bow.
Will this suffice, sir?
Eric has always been a little silly and childlike. Not immature, just full of energy and exuberance for life. That's definitely why I was drawn to him. His goofy, whole-body laugh whenever he sees something ridiculous happen is contagious, like when a squirrel jumps and misses a branch, or someone misjudges how fast a door will close. Bentley grins at his antics. Thanks, Dad, he says shyly. Tal, who made a pit stop in the washroom on his way to the kitchen, sits up next to Bentley at the counter. Dad, please don't. If you're going to be weird, I will get my own breakfast. Eric looks at him skeptically, feigning offense. I love you, Tal. I will not be weird. I will simply dish up your breakfast and not say a word. I slap some eggs on a plate and pass it to Eric so he can add the greens. He, in turn, places it in front of Tal. Kind of boring, right? I bet you wish you asked for weird, Eric teases. Tal rolls his eyes and begins cramming his mouth with soft egg. After the boys finish up and clear their dishes, they ask if they can play for a while with their robotics kits. We acquiesce, grab our mugs, and head to the porch. I figure we can leave right before 11 and still have plenty of time for our hike. I am grateful we picked a short one so we don't have to force the boys to rush, especially since they seem to be playing nicely. Eric and I sit down on the porch swing together. The wood gently creaks as we rock, the air fresh on our faces. A spiderweb catches my eye, dew shimmering in the delicate web, and my gaze shifts to the house next door. What's on your mind? Eric asks, causing me to jump at the unexpectedness of his voice. You okay there? He laughs and I feign annoyance, slightly embarrassed. I still think it's so strange that we haven't heard from Faye or Cameron, I say, ignoring his continued amusement. Oh, he says, suddenly serious. I actually asked about them at training. I forgot to tell you. You did? What did you find out? Not much, just that they had gained new responsibilities that required them to move territories. They moved to a completely new territory? Have you ever heard of that happening? Honestly, not really. Do you know what their work assignment was? Eric asks. I am reminded yet again how one-sided our relationship must have been. I know virtually nothing about them. Information about their family, yes, but nothing about their personal life. I was always so impressed that they were still in such good health and children entering young adulthood. I wish I would have learned more from them while they were here. No, I don't, I admit, exhaling slowly. I wonder when someone else will move in there. You would think it would be soon, Eric muses. Moving territories. Your research would never require that, would it? In some ways it sounds exciting, but I trail off. I am not quite sure how to verbalize the emotions rushing through me as I consider change of that magnitude. Do you remember the stories we explored in conditioning about travel? Eric asks as he puts his arm around my shoulders. Yes, how could I forget? I remember wishing so badly that I could go to a beach. That picture of the waves breaking on the rocks is still fixed in my brain, I say wistfully. I wonder what it would have been like to randomly jump on a plane and be somewhere else in a couple of hours. Probably amazing, but also terribly wasteful. I don't know that I could enjoy it, understanding the societal cost. I take a slow sip of my tea. I don't think anyone back then knew what the cost actually was. They simply paid for their ticket and went. Ignorance is bliss, Eric says, almost longingly. Do you wish we were ignorant? I ask, surprised at his tone. Sometimes, he considers. But mostly I'm just happy to be alive at this time, doing what we're doing. I think travel probably exacerbated the general feeling of dissatisfaction in society then. The idea of an exciting trip, escaping from the mundane, repetitive tasks of normal life, would have served as a constant distraction. The edge of his mug meets his lips, his 2-day-old stubble accentuating his masculinity. I watch his eyes close as he inhales the earthy smell of the chamomile. That's really it, isn't it? He continues. The whole idea of vacation seems odd to me. If your life is set up in such a way that all of your needs are fulfilled, why would you need to escape it? That was their downfall. Travel? No, escaping. Everything they did was to escape. Through entertainment, virtual experiences, travel, food, everything. Such an unhappy people. Or at least not a people at peace, he concludes, leaning over and kissing my forehead. I'm going to go put our day packs together. Is there anything you need in yours beside the usual? The usual is perfect, thanks, I say as he rises to return inside. Eric, we are at peace, right? He looks at me intently and smiles softly. Always.